Hi, boys and girls. It's so good to be with you this morning. Well, today I came out here on this beautiful porch here, and I am in Alabama. I'm in a place called Lake Guntersville. My family and I came out for a few days, and I wanted to take my children's sermon out here because I just love the scenery behind me. This is a little chalet like we're staying in, and back behind it, if you can look right where my finger is, right on the top of my finger, see it right there? That is a big rock. And if you can see all these pillars underneath the house, this is where these houses are built that we're staying in, these houses called chalets. And it's been so fun. And I wanted to film my children's sermon out here with you because this is the perfect scenery for the psalm that we are going to talk about today. Now, last Sunday we talked about how for the next few weeks we're all going to be focusing on the Psalms. And so today I wanted to share just a few verses with you from one of my favorite Psalms, and that's Psalm 18. So I'm going to read it to you now. And this is verse 1 and 2 and part of 3. I love you, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress and my deliverer. My God, my rock in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised. Now, I love that psalm because it talks, the person that wrote the psalm, they talk about God in such a way that I think sometimes I can identify with. See, the psalms are so special because really the psalms are thoughts that people wrote down about themselves, about their lives, about God, and about their faith in God. And in this psalm, the writer of this psalm is talking about their faith in God and comparing God to a rock. And if you can see back behind me, there's a huge rock over there. And these houses here are kind of like a refuge. Today, during the day, the entire day, it was raining the whole day for hours and hours and hours. And so I was so thankful that today we had a refuge, a house to stay in during that storm. That was so wonderful because I didn't know when it was going to stop raining. But then, as you can see, the sun has come out and it's so beautiful today. See, sometimes our lives can be a little bit like that. We may think that the storm is going to last forever, go on and on. We never know when it's going to stop. But if we have faith in the strong rock that is our God, we know that the sun is going to come out. And during those stormy times, during those times when we're not sure what's going to happen, when the stormy, bad, maybe sad things are going to end, we can have faith that God will deliver us because we can take refuge in Him. And we know that just like these huge rocks upon where these refuges are, where this refuge is built, that's the kind of faith that we can have in God. That's the kind of faith, the kind of hope, the kind of trust that we can have in Him because God is strong to save us. No matter if we're talking about COVID or we're talking about other things that we're going through. Maybe somebody at school hasn't been nice to us, or maybe you're just going through a tough time. God knows that. See, the psalmist wrote about a tough time in their life when this psalm goes on to talk about that. And this is something, this is their faith. So this week, I want you to find your Bible, and I want you to start with reading Psalm 18, and then I want you to look through the other Psalms and see if there are any other wonderful Psalms that you can read. And maybe this week, you, like the psalmist, you can write down your thoughts about your faith to God. You can write that to Him. Or you could even sing a song because some of the Psalms are actually songs, more like poetry, and they're just so beautiful. Now, speaking of a song, I have a fun song to share with you that's actually about a parable that Jesus tells in the New Testament about someone who builds their house on a rock. But I think it goes perfect with Psalm 18 today. So I'm going to go get Aaron and Leah and Mr. Norm, and we're going to come back and sing that with you now. And I'll bet that most of you know this song. And if you don't, it's so easy, so I know you can follow along. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope I see you next week. Bye-bye. All right, we're here and we're ready to sing. Now, this is a fun song, and I know you can follow along. So here we go. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock, and the rains came a-tumbling down. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up, and the house on the rock stood firm. Now the foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand, and the rains came a-tumbling down. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up, and the house on the sand went smash. We hope you liked that. We'll see you next week. Bye.